Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Brightworks. Today, taking a look at Forge, epic lava map. And today, spawning on our eastern side, representing our blue team, we have Ziteo. Ziteo going to be our blue team leader here, spawning in the caldera position. No, I guess that's not the right name for it. The geothermal position, maybe that's a better name for it. We've got all these geothermal plants for these two players to have access to, and it's a really powerful position. It's usually a game-leading position here. It's a frontline position, but it's also a backline position. It's a very complicated position on this map, but it's a very, very good one. Attack nuke here later, question mark? I'll be excited to see it. Big plans. Spawning on the eastern side for our red team, we have Zar X T4. Maybe there's a clever way to say that. I don't know how to say it, so I'm just going to call you Zar. Zar like bar, and definitely super, super high true skill. 34 true skill, the chevrons to match. Our yellow player actually spawning right up north, Contra, with a lower true skill, but even higher chevrons. So definitely a very experienced player as well. So I'm excited to see what both of these guys are going to bring out for us today. Absolutely love watching these high level matches. And I also love when there's some low-level players in them, because we get to watch these low-level players learn the basics of bar. Now it is a close tie between Rabbit Dog and Zar for getting the first unit out on the field. But Rabbit Dog's ticks did stop here, whereas Zar's did not. And so I think I'm going to have to give it to Zar for getting the first unit out and about on the field. Congratulations for winning the Brightworks official Get a unit out and about award. Chaz is going to power our whole team's energy. Okay, you can think that, but probably not actually what's going to happen. For the most part, it's probably going to be these geothermal plants. You can see Contra going for here. Super, super efficient. 300 energy for, well, let's look at the price here. 540 metal, 13,000 energy, as opposed to a advanced solar collector, which is about 2/3 of the cost of a geothermal, although way less energy expensive. But it produces 75 energy versus 300, so these geothermal plants are extremely, extremely efficient here. There are tons of grunts out already, and they're harassing down Teleologic's main command center here. You can see that they're blasting down these metal extractors, and that actually hurts way more on this map than most others, because those metal extractor points are super valuable. You can see 4.9 metal on that one spot right there. It's enough to fund an entire early game economy, and certainly it's going to be a devastating hit. We need to see that metal extractor put up and back in use almost right away here. That, and we also need to see those windmills rebuilt. Going for another metal extractor point. As long as we have one out on the board, it's going to be fine. Kill a KP, showing that they're not afraid to get their hands dirty, get those grunts out on the field, and do a little bit of damage with them. It's definitely going to make this northern lane a lot easier to hold. You can see Rabbit Dog pushing forward very, very quickly here, which I do love to see. If we can deny this metal extractor, that's great. If we can take it, that's even better. And we're going to send a tremendous amount of metal back to the team, because that's one problem that you have in this matchup, or this game specifically on this map, is it's really hard to spend your metal. It's really difficult. You have to build so much build power and so much energy, and it's completely different from the way that usually you tech up and the normal pace of the game. So certainly it can be a huge advantage, but it can also be a little bit jarring. The Great Wall of Light Laser Turrets being built by Carrie here. Carrie is one of the newer players to the game, and so learning the costs of building static defense are massive. We're also building some build power back here, so that's great. We haven't quite gotten the energy under control, though, so I'd love to see them going for a geothermal plant, maybe getting some of these advanced solar panels up after this build power is finished, but certainly we don't want to be going for this much forward static defense, at least not this early. We're just going to stall our economy. Things are going to go too slowly. Teleologic is in a terrible position now. That early game harassment really, really did a number on them. They need to get units out on the field. They also need to get energy production up and running. They also need to get a front line set up, and there's just too much to handle all at once. This is where you need your team to step in and start helping you out. Otherwise, there's no way that you're going to be able to get back into this game. We need to see some windmills handed over from the backline. Certainly a option in case you're playing the backline, by the way, is to build some extra windmills and just hand them out to your teammates if they get destroyed. Because they're going to need them at some point or another. We're already starting at the agitator here for carry, and again, you can see the metal drain on this. All three of these, they're pumping 150-ish metal, or 150-ish energy and 12 metal per second into this. Yeah, we're basically dumping all of our metal, all of our energy into building this agitator. An agitator, which is field of fire, is very severely limited, first of all, by these lines of laser turrets, but also it's going to be very expensive, and it's probably not going to come up until there's already a critical mass of units up and against them. Now, for what it's worth, Teleologic is doing an excellent job of continuing the aggression here, pushing forward with the commander. Desperate moves, or desperate times call for desperate measures, and this commander is looking real desperate as it marches forward here and starts taking down some of these pawns. Oh no, missing a couple D-guns. That's a wasted 1,000 energy. Finally hits the third one to take them down, and it starts setting up a light laser turret. Blitz is moving forward to try and deal with this front line here. And for what it's worth, they're not doing a terrible job. Well, you know, I actually redact that. They did a pretty terrible job. Those blitzes didn't actually get very much value out. Destroying 2 light laser turrets, definitely not what they were hoping for. They were probably hoping for a whole lot more. We could always use a resbot. It looks like we had one at one point, but it has died. I would love to see a resbot out here eating up all of this energy back here. It's a very easy thing to forget to do, especially on this map, because there's not a lot of metal reclaim. It's a lot more energy. But certainly it can help you get that first geothermal plant up and running. We are starting up a grave robber eventually, so that is quite nice. One of the agitators is up and running, and for what it's worth, it's doing a nice job of shelling away at some of these units here. What's the effective range on that bad boy? Oh yeah, it can actually shoot pretty far here. It is laying down some Daka on these maces here, helping hold this front line for Tsar. When the units are grouped up like this, it can absolutely do tremendous damage. That is one of its benefits here. You can see every time it fires, it does a nice little AoE splash of damage, meaning that Tsar is going to have a much easier time dealing with these units, which are now scuffed up pretty badly. Has a nice vision radius too, so if we see a radar go up by Tsar, that would definitely help this thing fire a little bit more frequently here. Target this cluster of units and it can get a tremendous value out. I do love the agitator a little bit more than the gauntlet for exactly that reason. You can get quite a bit more value just because it has more AoE, it has a slightly more damage. Oh, I accidentally shot our teammate. Accidentally there. That's alright. Yeah, okay. Well, this agitator is certainly going to get its money's worth. Another 2 really are going to be coming up here eventually. But we're going to start running out of metal pretty soon. Oh, we're trying to take down the construction bots. It's definitely a good move here. If we can take down these construction bots, things are going to look really nice. Meanwhile, up north, a push from the yellow player has gone super deep into the backline here. You can see these grave robbers keeping this army in tip-top shape here. Doing a phenomenal job of piecing together all these fallen thugs and maces and whatever they can into the army and rebuilding it from the dead. The blitzes have finally taken down this static defense line here. Rabbit Dog, ooh, with a beautiful D-gun there. Wiping away most of those units, just shredding them off the face of the earth here. A lot of these units are scuffed up, but we do have the resbots to repair all of it if we need to, so that's quite nice. We can also repair all this stuff right here, basically build our own front line out of resurrection if we wanted to. And I would love to see this geothermal plant starting up anytime soon. Oh, looks like a commander did go down there. That was orange? Yeah, looks like that was Teleologic's commander who did go down. Gonna leave a nice little lava puddle in the middle of the map. Probably worth contesting. We can probably manage to hold this front line long enough to eat up all that metal, but it might cost us more than we're willing to pay in soldiers' lives here, so maybe not worth it. We're really looking for the opportunity to get these units around and into the backline here. For what it's worth, I think we might have found it. The thugs have managed to sneak around the majority of the army here for the green player. And what was once a... Oh, no, yeah, we want to resurrect. Or reclaim, rather. We ate a little bit of it. Couple hundred of it. About 300 metal we ate off that commander. Not quite done yet. These thugs are being an excellent distraction, though, in the backline. Very, very powerful stuff. And they are marching towards Killa KP, who is lurking in the shadows. Waiting for the right time to strike here. We are going to self-destruct the commander and wipe away most of that army. That was a nice play, and this commander is far enough back that we're going to have no problem at all securing it and keeping a hold of it while we reclaim or resurrect it. I suppose we could, but probably going to reclaim it here. And a bunch of units walking through the lava, that always hurts to see. It's one of the dangers of this map are any big explosions, which are going to cause tremendous problems. Looks like the purple player is teched up, and we are starting to pump out T2 hounds, which are always wonderful to see on the front lines. Very, very comforting sight to see those, especially when you're up against those T1 units. We do have a T2 player up here as well, Stefan LB, who is up to T2 tech by now, but there is no units on the field. We're basically just relying on a couple of T1 medium tanks. Gonna be difficult to hold. Teleologic says, we didn't win that push, did we? Very dramatic, like a action movie or something. But unfortunately, no, I don't think we did. I think we might have lost that push because unfortunately, 2 commanders are left in the lava puddles over here for the reclamation of that team. Now, these metal extractors are untaken, which is a really huge blunder. That's an extra 9 metal per second that we could be pulling back into our units here, or back into our army rather. Bizarre that we haven't taken these metal extractors yet. That's absolutely an oversight. We should be holding every metal extractor that we possibly can, especially down in this middle area because they're all super valuable. Hounds are out now for Czar, which is really important, since we do see those hounds out for the purple player as well. We can see just how effective they are. As soon as they get vision, they launch that Gauss round, and it does tremendous damage, especially against these T1 units, tearing them down with ease. Making T12:WQ. I think that probably was just meant to be T2. I think I get the message. Makes sense. We do have a T2 constructor up here for teleologic, and we do have the Twitcher out as well in order to build some fiends. So that's really nice to see. We are on repeat command, which is always great. I think we should probably build some construction turrets though, just 1 or 2. They're going to be a little bit better, a little bit more reliable for helping out with building these than these construction bots are. And of course you can use the construction bots to build other things as well. Fiends are marching towards the hounds over here. Czar doing an excellent job of sending in some hounds of his own to make sure that there's at least some sort of a posturing here to try and drive back these forces. One tip I would offer you guys is if you're ever doing this and you're ever building fiends like this, put them into a grid pattern by, you know, just regular shift and alt at the same time, and then do your repeat command. And what that's going to do is it's going to allow your Twitcher to start the next fiend before the first one has to run away. Just a little tip, but it does help save a couple seconds, but a couple seconds per fiend is pretty worth it. Uh-oh, we accidentally self-destructed our fiends there. This is a dangerous push coming out from the red player here. We do have snipers to deal with some of these tankier units. Fat Boy is out as well, but fiends are jumping on top of it. And the snipers make quick work of that fiend right, or that Fat Boy right there. The hounds are trying to tear down this T2 defensive structure. I think they should definitely be going for the eco in the back line here. Mad Dog 411 also has a huge potential at the moment. Could definitely be moving units up and into this line right here, destroying T and A Toy Box. And also Stefan LB. Although Stefan LB does have these fiends streaming out now at a consistent enough pace. The tacky nuke has finally come up. Yeah, it's kind of got an interesting spot here. I guess you could hit this front line over here. You can sort of clip the front line over here, although there's not much left. But production is ramping up, and you can see that with all of these Sheldons streaming out here. I'd love to see these Sheldon mixed in with an Augur and a Deceiver. just so we know exactly what's going on around us. Maybe a spy bot here and there too. Wouldn't hurt. Fat boy not afraid to shell away from long, long distances. So it lets out a spit of plasma globule. And yeah, it very quickly will tear through any of these T1 units, and it does pretty good damage to T2 as well. So that's certainly something to keep in mind. Looks like we do have a pulsar coming up here for the red team. It's going to be a nice forward defensive option. This front line is in quite a lot of trouble here. These hounds are pushing forward, and the fiends are also jumping on top of it. These agitators here are so satisfying to watch. You know, they might not be the most efficient, but certainly when they let down their waterfall of death, they can be quite satisfying. They leave their little crater on the ground, and everything looks wonderful. The welders are marching forward as well, although they are being absolutely devastated by the sniper fire, and there's not a great way to break through this line. We do have some bulls marching forward. The snipers are sort of the direct counter to the bulls, but you know, the bulls can still get tremendous value. Once those snipers fire, they have to cool down for quite a while, and the bulls can get some shots in between then. But they're certainly fighting the toughest place on the entire map to push in here. I would expect they'd probably get more value if we were using them in a more opportunistic way. We do have lightning tanks out, and these can definitely get some value. But again, we're just charging straight at the defenses. I think, yeah, there we go. We need to move them up here, up into the southeastern section of the map here. Going to easily tear down these incisors. Although the Tiger tanks do jump on top of that. Rattlesnake is out, providing that long-range artillery support here. The Sheldon army is marching forward. We do also have some arbiters mixed in here for that it's sort of super heavy siege option. They're kind of the Cortex equivalent to the sharpshooter. They kind of fill the same role as almost like a siege unit. Well, they're definitely a siege unit. The sharpshooter is sort of a siege unit. It's like a siege unit. It's a very, very odd siege unit, but it is a siege unit. Those arbiters are so satisfying, though. You leave your units clumped up, and they will just disappear when those arbiters fire. I can't say the name Arbiter without thinking about the Arbiter from Halo. Maybe that should be the thumbnail for this video. Take a quick little screenshot of that. Whoa, disappeared into the mountain there. Massive army of fiends, but when you group them up like this, they do explode. Whoa, or the commander will explode, one or the other. But yeah, when you group them up, they do explode. Ooh, these are walking into that lava. Oh no, there was no lava there. It was just high enough up on the ground. Suddenly this push from yellow is looking downright devastating. Tactical nuke is used. Oh. Ooh, it fires on nothing. Unfortunate. That nuke must have been queued from ages and ages ago. We do have an EMP missile launcher. I do love to see those things. They can be really, really effective. And you can see the effective range of this is so much higher. It can reach halfway across the world. EMP missiles are much lighter and therefore require much less fuel to get off the ground. But this is looking really bad. Killa KP's base is under immediate duress. And the advanced geothermal lights up. Everything explodes. Well done by Contra, wiping away the entirety of the blue production base here. There is an advanced geothermal plant, so we could still rebuild here, but it is going to be tremendously difficult. There's nothing left on the northern side to defend from any kind of aggression here. And indeed, that's what we're seeing. The Fiends marching out, the T1 medium tanks, the Stouts rolling behind as well. Autobots, it's time to roll out. We see the pulsars getting their values worth. Always looking for a new target to fire on here. They miss horribly. But this is looking really bad. We do have a bunch of fiends walking into the back line here. Bad Kids is about to have a really bad day. As a bunch of fiends march into their base. Looks like one of our players has decided to tap out. Is that a tactical nuke? What just blew up that base here? Well, anyway, everything just went up in smoke here for the blue player. All of their constructors, the advanced geothermal plant went up. There was nothing left. Looks like this was the player that tapped out here. Can't see the name anymore once they've tapped out, but yeah, they've decided to leave the game here, leaving behind a nice little production facility. Need for a front on this map. It's absolutely true. You need that crucial, the position here, the 2 here, and then the 1 here. And then usually you want 1 here coming down as well, and you want 1 here coming down as well. That's usually the ideal way to play this map. Or at least it's the current ideal way to play this map. Certainly that is subject to change here and there, but it's definitely the tried and true, the method that seems to work the best. Medium tanks not finding much success against this pit bull here. But it won't matter, as the blue team realizes that battling this is essentially futile. I love this map, but man, it can turn with a heartbeat. A single unit breaks through and blows up these advanced fusion reactors, and man, you are in a world of hurt. Thanks a ton for watching. I love watching these games on Forge. They're really fun. If you have a game that you'd like to send in, always remember you're welcome to send them in to brightworksreplays@gmail.com, and I'm more than happy to take a look at them. Can't promise that I'll get to all of them, because I do get quite a few of them nowadays, which is, you know, suffering from success, I suppose. But no, I do love to hear from you guys, and I'll always take a look, even if I don't cover it. But anyways, thanks a ton for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.